Daddy's podcast, The Morgan You Know.
Love the show, and you should check out my buddy Rod Morgan's pod, The Morgan You Know, as I'm confident he's primed to make some waves on the scene.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Morgan You Know podcast. I am your host. My name is Rod Morgan. Thank you for joining us on whatever podcast platform you may be listening to this, whatever video platform you may be watching this on. We appreciate you. All we ask is that you make sure you like, you subscribe, you comment along, you follow us on one of our social media channels. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. I believe you can find us on TikTok, but the executive producer of this show will be able to clarify that for me. His name is Jimmy Jamriska. Jimmy, hello.
Hey, Rod. Yes, you can find us anywhere. We've got TikTok. We've got Instagram. We've got Facebook. By the way, our Facebook, those Hoosier fans still liking our Hoosier tree. We're up to like 70,000 views on that. Really appreciate all the feedback.
Nice.
Honestly, it's not one of our best reels, so watch more of them. It's good. We'll take it, though.
Absolutely. There are much better reels, some of them coming from our character, our old man who was away from us for a little while because he was literally dealing with a Stone Age Tool conference up in Chicago, and he is back now, and we're happy to have him. He's Chris King. Chris, hello.
Hello, gentlemen, and I would just like to say to the world, if you had a run-in with Craig Roberts over the last couple of weeks, I'd just like to apologize on his behalf.
That's okay. My guy. That is my guy. All right, gentlemen, we're going to start with a cold open question to get Chris warmed up. He was off for a week, Jimmy. We want to get him rolling. All right, and I rolled to a local sandwich shop the other day. Let's just say that. No free ads here unless it's Mountain Dew. I'll always shout out Mountain Dew, but no free ads for anybody else. I went to a local sandwich shop, and you know what, Jimmy? It got me thinking. What is your favorite sandwich? Jimmy Jamriska has to eat a sandwich, gets the choice of his favorite. What's he going to?
It's definitely between two, but I'm going to go with a traditional club sandwich. I've got my turkey. Got to have my roast beef, Rod. You know me and roast beef. Got to be on there involved. Little bacon, onion, tomato, lettuce, pickle, nice bun. Let's go. I love a good sandwich. Good club sandwich.
Okay, so now let me ask you this vis-a-vis this sandwich. Do you find your sandwich tastes are more determined by the condiments added to the sandwich, or does it always come down to the meat for you?
Rod, I'm kind of anti-condiment on sandwich. I'm sorry. I'm not going any mayo. I'm not going any sauces whatsoever. No, what I said is what I like.
I know, but you are putting some accoutrement on there, Jimmy. I mean, an onion is a condiment. You know what I mean? A pickle is a condiment.
Okay, I guess that's fine. Yeah. Meat is first, for sure. And then anything extra I can put on is good as well.
All right, because you have the Cuban, right, Jimmy, which also utilizes the
Cuban
pickle.
Is fine. Cuban is fine.
Mean? But it's ham, right? So like you said, it's more meat for you. So you'd like to go to
Not a big
club.
ham guy.
All right, let's go to the old man. I mean, Jimmy, he could throw Reuben at us here. You know what I mean? Like he could throw like an old SOS sandwich, right? The people used to call it old shit on a shingle, right? Like that's an old person sandwich.
Just a cheese sandwich, slice of cheese between two pieces of bread.
Chris, what's your favorite sandwich?
I am known to have the cheese sandwich from time to time. I do like my condiments, though, Jimmy, so I'll put a little bit of Miracle Whip on there. My favorite sandwich, though, Rod, by far, one that I can eat every single day, multiple times a day, is a good old-fashioned BLT. Give me some lightly toasted bread, some nice and crispy bacon, a farm fresh tomato, some green leaf lettuce, and Miracle Whip, salt and pepper to taste if you were into that type of stuff. But a BLT. Every day, all day, I can eat it all the time.
See, I like your shout out of salt and pepper there. I believe that is an underutilized condiment on sandwiches, right? I think that salt and pepper can really add a lot. I, too, Chris, like you, are a big fan of condiments. And I'm such a fan of so many different types of condiments and so many different types of sandwiches that it was tough for me to pick out. Am I going to go meatball at you here with some banana peppers on it? Right? Or some mustard with the meatball. No, I decided not to go to that. Am I going to go just Italian, where I'm going to get some capicola? I'm going to get some salami. I'm going to get some pepperoni. I'm going to put all three of those on there. ultimately where I decided to land for my favorite sandwich is the one that I find myself going back to now more than anything else, and also looking for in the gas station, and that's a peanut butter and jelly. I think I've landed on the peanut butter and jelly as my absolute favorite sandwich. I guess I'm in the minority when it comes to crunchy peanut butter. At least in my house, I am. Nobody likes the crunchy peanut butter in this house other than me, but I feel like the crunchy peanut butter gives it a little more of a base, Jim, right? I feel like I'm eating more of a substantial sandwich with the crunchy peanut butter. And also,
I think
strawberry
crunchy
jelly.
peanut butter is for evil people. I really do.
So you're a crunchy peanut butter / strawberry jelly.
Yes, only strawberry
Whoa!
jelly, no grape. No grape jelly.
Wow.
No grape jelly. Get your grape jelly out of here. And the other way.
Strawberry
now,
jelly or jam? Jelly or
what's-
jam?
What?
I mean,
let's have a discussion about that. What's the difference?
That's a good question. I guess jelly is a little runnier, is it not? And jam is more substantive. You got to kind of really
Jam
Chris
has
has those-
fruit pulp mixed still in there. Jelly's been filtered a whole lot more.
pulp. I like that. Pulp's a good call. Jimmy, are you jam or jelly?
Chris is a little runny sometimes. Of the two, I would definitely be jelly of those two. I just find it interesting. You're more consistency. You know what you're going to get from a crunchy peanut butter sandwich with strawberry jelly on it. Every time you know what it is, no matter where you are in the continental United States.
Boom. And I think that's also where if I'm at a gas station, I'm sorry, no downplay to any gas station here, but I'm not really about the meats at your gas station. I just don't need meats from a gas station. So peanut butter and jelly, I feel much safer going with one of those at a convenience store. So that's my favorite sandwich, Chris. Are you surprised by that? You've seen me eat many a sandwich our days living together back in the Petty Street. Did you think I was going PB&J there?
Yeah, part of me really wanted you to say pork fritter. Right, we've had fritter days in our past, right? We do like the pork fritters, chicken fritters if you're fancy, all right. But I'm not surprised, I guess, right? Because you went into it kind of like I did. Like, what's something I can eat no matter what, no matter where I'm at, like any time of the year, any time of the day.
I found that the other problem with me and
BLT,
salami,
right? That's something you can eat all the time.
That's right. I found the other problem with me and salamis, and then we'll get off sandwiches, is I have a tough time figuring out which kind of bread I want, right? Do I want a long hoagie roll? You know what I mean? Do I want some sort of a brioche? Do I want like Hawaiian, right? Like that's the new thing that I've been doing. Give me some of that Hawaiian bread that's got a little bit of sweet tinge to it on top of the sandwich, you know? So I think that's why I shied away from a meat sandwich and just went to PB&J because, as Jimmy said, consistency. And one thing you can count on us to do on this podcast is talk about the NBA and to talk about wrestling. But you can also count on us to talk about the NFL when there's NFL news to be had. And boy, was there ever NFL news to be had Monday at noon of this week. Deals were able to be announced. We had a deal announced and then taken away for the first time ever in the NFL. We could talk about that. Our Colts made a bunch of moves. Jimmy, your Bears made some moves. Chris, the Dallas Cowboys look as if they are going to play the forever offseason dance that they play with someone with George Pickens this offseason. So congratulations to Jerry Jones dominating the offseason headlines once again. Where do we want to start? Chris, I'll go to you.
It's called relevance, gentlemen. And Jerry Jones, if nothing else, knows how to keep the Cowboys relevant. All right? Because as soon as the Ravens back out, I'm guaranteed that Jerry Jones was calling the Raiders and be like, "Hey, will you think about our deal now?"
So you think that's the most interesting thing to you, Chris? You still are waiting around to see what happens with Max Crosby?
I think if he goes to the Cowboys, yes. I mean, we all know the Cowboys defense actually just stunk worse than a Mac school defense last year. So any type of help. And like, I know we haven't made any big splashes in free agency really, but we have been getting depth at defense, like real solid guys. So we'll see.
Jimmy, you came on this podcast worried about what your Bears were going to do at center. They didn't actually make a free agent splash, but they traded for a guy. So, I mean, they tried to bolster things there a little bit. What do you think about the Bears offseason before we all three of us get and argue, I think, about the Colts?
So they didn't do anything splashy yet. They did get a lot faster on defense. I will note that every single one of their takeaways, which they led the NFL in, is gone now. With Byard, Byard's gone. He went to the Patriots. Wright went away as well. So that's kind of tough. DJ Moore leaving was tough as well. And I guess it's kind of cool. Ryan Poles, it was tough for him. He loved DJ Moore. His son loves DJ Moore. And his son was mad at Ryan for trading him. And you know what DJ Moore did? He sent the kid a video message saying, "Don't be mad at your dad. It's just business." How cool is that? You know, what a stand-up guy. Little nervous about the offensive line right now. We've still got hopefully a couple more moves to go. We'll just see what happens. You know, it wasn't the splash that we wanted in any way, but another center that we really wanted went for $27 million a year. So I don't think we were going to do that.
Yeah, $27 million a year. Boy, I wish that the Colts would have gotten a quarterback for that or a less number, but unfortunately, that's not where the Colts landed. Our guy, Indiana Jones, Danny Dimes, coming off an ACL. Maybe it was just a flash in the pan. The Colts sure don't think so. We're in. Looks like he's going to get at least $40 million out of the Colts for 1 year. It looks like. I'm not seeing much guaranteed language into that second year, so perhaps the Colts will be able to move on from him if it does go up in a flaming disaster this year. But Chris, what do you think? Am I wrong, or are you excited about Daniel Jones coming back to the Colts?
I was not for Danny Dimes at the beginning of last season. And after 10 games, I was proven wrong, I think, right? We know he played for a while on a broken leg, essentially, which I think helped that Achilles tendon rupture like it did. I think maybe that's what kind of caused his downturn more than anything else like that. I think $44 million a year is a lot for a guy that we don't know when he's even going to play during that first year. So I'm kind of torn, Rod. I really am. But I do think I like what Daniel Jones showed last year more than what Kyler Murray or Tua or anybody else that's out there in free agency shown last year. So,
all right, well, I got a wild take for you. On that one. But Jimmy, when you and I talked about the Colts keeping the transition tag on Jones, we talked about how that related to Alec Pierce. And the one good thing the Colts did this offseason is we locked up Alec Pierce. We didn't let him get out of the building. We locked him up. A lot of people will tell you that that's why Danny Dimes is here. What say you to that situation?
Well, I just think the Colts looked at the scape, and they don't have a pick this year or next year in the first round. So this year, they've got the cap room, so they're giving him 50 guaranteed this year. That's what he's taking home. Next year, it's only 10 guaranteed. I think it's 38 total that he can get. So that's what we have for this year and next year. Having Pierce come back was very good for the Colts. They did have to give up Pittman. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but Pittman's been hurt a lot over the past couple of years. I think that's an okay move to make, especially since you still have Josh Downs on the roster. Different receiver, I know. But I think getting Pierce back was kind of saving face for the franchise, because right now there's a lot of Colts fans that are down and they're nervous because Danny Dimes could be great, Rod. He could be, but no quarterback comes back from this injury in year one and has a good year. Like, nobody does.
Chris, I'd be inclined to be willing to give some grace to one Indiana Daniel Dimes Jones that his leg was starting to go on him, and that's why his production was beginning to dip. But I saw him beginning to dip a little bit before he even got injured. I saw the rest of the Colts team tank a little bit around him, and I can't put that all on him. But I also have to think to myself, what do the Colts do at quarterback for 3 of the final 5 weeks of the year? We trucked in a 44-year-old dude off the street who hadn't played in a while, and he was serviceable on the offense. So you are telling me that we can't get a serviceable year out of Kirk Cousins, a guy who's floating around out there right now and is not going to cost you $50 million guaranteed against the cap? Like, I think we all are sort of resigned to the fact that Ballard and Steichen are out at the end of this year. So why do you guys believe, as if it seems, the Colts bowed to the wills of Ballard and Steichen? If you're going to fire these guys at the end of this year, why not tell them, you know what? No, I don't want that guy quarterbacking for me. Because Carly's got an example of it. Her dad, Jim, walked down in the locker room and said, if Carson Wentz ever quarterbacks for this team again, you're fired. She could have said the same thing. Why is Danny Jones back?
I don't have an answer for you there. If that's really how it went down, and I tend to agree with you. I think this is more Steichen and Ballard, but like, if that's how it went down, I don't know, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I can understand the backroom accounting of an NFL franchise, right? Because who knows? I do think that you have money essentially to make it guaranteed this year. That doesn't hurt your cap too much. And then next year, there's only 10 guaranteed. So you could restructure that probably if you need to, or be able to release him without too much. I don't know what his contract says about what happens if he's not on the roster the second year of the contract, but I think there's less risk here than maybe what we realize when we see that 2-year $88 million tag and that 4-year $116 million tag on Pierce. A lot of people think that's high too, right? So I don't know. I mean, this is the NFL. Guys are getting paid a lot of money, Rod.
You're right about that. Jimmy Jam, play Palace Intrigue with me to the best of your ability here. Why do you think Carly Ursay-Gordon ultimately bowed to Ballard and Steichen and brought back Danny Dimes and didn't just say, hey, you guys are on the hot seat here. What I say goes. And it doesn't seem very economical to me to pay Danny Jones $50 million. When it seems anyway, is if nobody else in the league wanted to pay him that kind of money.
There's no owner that knows more about the inner workings of their team than Carly Ursay. She was on the field the entire time, was on the headset. She knows what she heard, and she thinks that Steichen is the coach that will continue in this team. I think I don't have an answer for Ballard right now because he just hasn't gone very well with the quarterback situation. Ballard's a good talker. He's a smart guy. It just has not worked out quarterback wise. But I think she really does believe that Steichen is the coach that needs to continue on with this team, and giving him the best chance to win is giving him Danny Dimes in her mind.
I suppose I could buy that. The last point I want to make about this, and it relates to Ballard, how you just brought it up there, Jim, and Chris, I'll throw it to you on this. Ballard hasn't made great decisions with the quarterback, but correct me if I'm wrong here. Has he ever had his chance to just draft his guy, right? I mean, other than like a Riley Leonard late in the draft, or, I mean, I guess, are we putting all of Richardson on him would be my question, right? Are we putting all of Richardson on him, or do we want to just say, listen, you think you're so good at drafting and you've shown us you're good at drafting some other offensive talent and some defensive talent, draft a quarterback in the 3rd round and show me what you can do with him. I just, why not say that, Chris, I guess is my question with Ballard. If you are having him on the hot seat, why not make him show you something with the draft? We know he can't do anything with a quarterback.
Right. And he has had some success, right? Like people like that we like as fans. Pittman, Franklin on defense, right? We've seen some good players that we've gotten through the draft. So it's not that he has missed all the time, but he's missed on the biggest spots, I think, right? And again, we all knew Richardson was a risk. We knew that was a very low ceiling, or a very low floor, but a potential high ceiling. And lo and behold, he breaks his eye while he's doing warm-ups. So I don't know if I that's definitely his responsibility. That was definitely his guy, I think. But we all knew that was a risk as well.
I'm down on the Colts. We'll have plenty more time to talk about the Colts. I was down on the Colts last year and they proved me wrong. So as a fan, I hope that I get to be wrong again, but I don't know. I have a sneaky feeling that I'm going to end up being right about this one. Jimmy, let's go out on the NFL on a high note. What was another signing around the league that caught your eye that you thought was a pretty big deal? Mute, Jimmy.
He's muted.
That's what happens when you are doing 50 things at once. I actually really do like what the Raiders did all around. I think getting Linderbaum in as a center is going to give Fernando Mendoza that just anchor, and he's going to be able to learn from him. He's going to be able to take a lot of stuff away from the quarterback position that normally quarterbacks do, kind of like what happened with Caleb Williams this year, where he didn't have to do as much as other quarterbacks did. So I really did like what the Raiders did there. They did spend a lot. Doesn't always work, but I think they're surrounding Mendoza with good players.
Yeah, as long as old TB12 Alex Guerrero doesn't get in the way around there. That was kind of a sneaky, not good article for the Raiders coming out of the Athletic there. But I guess not anything was good about the Raiders last year, so let's not worry about that and give them another chance. Chris, how about you? What was another big signing around the league?
Well, I mean, we might as well say it like, do we really want the Chiefs to keep getting richer? Like, I think the Kenneth Walker signing was a big deal, right? If I'm an AFC West team, I'm like, how do I even win? Like, how do I keep on? Hopefully, Denver and the Chargers step it up next year, but I think if the Chiefs are healthy, they win that division again.
All right, last thing I'm going to say on football before we move on and have Jimmy talk about a little basketball with us, because I've certainly got something that has me excited in basketball. But it is shout out to my guy Gardner Minshew getting yet another shot. Arizona bringing him in. Looks like he's going to be the day one starter for the Cardinals unless they draft somebody. Go Gardner. Jimmy, you had to shed a bit of a tear of joy when you saw Gardner get another shot.
It is terrific, and also, but not good though for him. They're in tank mode all season long. They want that number one pick like no other. That's the goal for the Cardinals. We'll see if Mr. Manning can go to Arizona in 2027.
I definitely think that's what they have. Chris, I'm sure you had to sort of, as much as you like Gardner, I'm sure you had to have a similar thought to Jimmy there that, man, the Cardinals are tanking already.
All I know about Arizona is I called it last year. That was going to be the last time we saw Kyler Murray for Cardinal, right? And we saw that. I think he just got picked up by Minnesota today, maybe, for a year deal. So right, I'm like, hey, when you're picking up Kyler, just remember Black Ops gets released in like October, November sometime. So probably not going to have him very much after that.
Oh, Chris has been right on that one so many times. I love it when he goes back to it. You love what else? We love going back to the NBA Fast Break, navigated by our guy, James Thomas.
He's back, and he's better than ever. Jason Tatum makes his triumphant return 3 games in, averaging 27 minutes. He is not on a time restriction, but he's playing 27 minutes a game. 19 points, 3 assists, a steal, 39% from the field, 29% from 3. Rod, congratulations on many things, including some fantasy basketball.
It was joyful, right? It was joyful. And you don't get that chance very often during a regular season NBA basketball to have something be joyful, other than just the regular joy of seeing the great product that the NBA puts on us from night to night. But seeing JT come back, seeing that place excited, seeing JT's mom there and seeing the emotions that he was going over, and like, you could tell that like he was rusty, yes, but like I was surprised at how well he was able to move out there. He was, like he fits seamlessly right back in with this team, right? I mean, like, I don't care if you're a little bit rusty. Give me a 6'8" dead eye shooter who also helps rebound. And those things right now you can see with the Celtics. So I like the Celtics in the East. I'm definitely biased, but I like the Celtics in the East.
Yeah, Chris, this isn't good for anyone who was tired of the Celtics coming back because he's kind of fitting in pretty well. Now, let's see what happens in 2 weeks when he gets his feet underneath him a little bit more. Do you think the Celtics right now are the team to beat in the East?
I think it's too soon to say that. I mean, listen, Rod's going to because he bleeds green.
Of course.
But I think it's still too soon because we still know how good Detroit is. They've slid a little bit over the last week, but that's still a solid team in the East. And a 7-game series is going to be tough. We don't know how well JT is going to handle a bigger load in a playoff series versus a regular season. I would have to imagine that we'll see that shooting percentage tick up as time goes on by too. I think we can tell he's a little rusty, especially from the 3. So I anticipate that ticking up. I still think Detroit is tough. I think we could see another great Detroit-Boston matchup a la the late 80s.
It's funny. When you were like 60, 70 years old, thank you for remembering that. Tatum's came back, kind of reminded me of Cooper Flagg's first game where he was out there kind of scared a little bit, and, just a little timid here and there, went for a huge dunk, didn't get it, then got one later. I'm intrigued to see Rod. I think the Pistons are interesting. I get it. But I think that Knicks series, if they have a Knicks series coming up, that's going to be big because they're gonna go after him.
Yeah, and I think the mental factor plays a little bit here too, right? JT's going to have to go back to the Garden where it happened, right? That's always probably a bit of a a mental thing, right? I mean, I know that there's a spot in Elkhart where I got rear-ended about 4 months ago, right? And then every time I roll through that spot in Elkhart, I'm now, I mean, my head's on an extra swivel. I'm just making sure nobody's acting a fool behind me. And so I'm sure JT is going to think about that spot right there, just north of the key, heading over to the wing. See, I remember it almost like it was yesterday when he just lost his leg out from underneath him a little bit and he went down and just immediately started slapping the floor. So, and you're right. The Knicks have the wings that can play physical with Tatum. You're going to have Bridges banging up against him. You're going to have OG Anunoby banging up against him. And you're going to have Mitchell Robinson right there. Anytime he wants to drive into the paint, you're going to have Cat right there. So I'm scared of the Knicks. I'm a little bit scared of the Cavs. Chris, I know what he said about the Pistons is true, but we've talked about this before, Jim. I believe that you have to have scars on your roster and the Pistons don't have enough. So I'm not afraid of the Pistons.
I'm wondering if the Pistons and maybe even Father Pete would say that they probably should have done something at the trade deadline just to get somebody else in there. Maybe a huge forward with playoff experience that's right now not doing much in New Jersey, but or in Brooklyn, New Jersey. I digress. I'm old. Who's not old? A youngster.
That's my gimmick, Jimmy.
Scored 83 points. Bam Adebayo breaks Kobe Bryant's modern-day record of 83 points with 83 points over 81 for Kobe. Not quite to Wilt yet. A lot of controversy. You know, when you see that, you're like, did the Wizards really try to help him get that? No, they're just that bad, Rod. The Wizards fouled him that many times. Give it up to him. 36 for 43 from the free throw line's pretty good, though, right?
Yeah, I shout out to Tim Bontemps, who I have excoriated on this podcast before, but I promise that I do like him as a podcaster, and I got this stat from him. Bam had 274 free throws going into that game. Then his 43 basically upped his season free throw total by about 25%. That is absolutely insane. The Lizards, yeah, that's right, the Lizards, they don't get a W in front of their name, should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Chris, I'm going to give you a second here because I don't want to hog all of the air, but Jimmy, I'm going to need you to hit my Rod Damnation for something after Chris takes his take.
All right, Chris, go right ahead.
Right, listen, I don't think anybody who watched the game enjoyed how it ended, especially those last few minutes. But
Heat fans probably did.
I mean, listen, if you're a Heat fan, you got to be happy. And I think in 10 years' time, it's not going to be remembered how we got to 83 as much as it is right now. I sure as heck don't remember how Kobe got to 81, right? I know it was a little bit of a closer game, but then because of Kobe, they came back and ended up winning big, right? No one remembers Wilt's game except for a few of us. So, and we definitely don't remember how he got there, really. So I think you can be upset, but also appreciate it at the same time. Like, good for him. He scored, 36 in the first quarter? All right, that's insane.
Chris, you were the cameraman for that Wilt game, and you forgot to plug the camera in. That's the reason why we don't have any footage of it.
No. That camera was plugged in. They didn't give me any film in the camera because they were a bunch of cheap bastards.
We both know there is no film in that camera.
Hi, my name is.
I clicked Rod Damnation.
Hi, my name is Van.
All right, it's Rod Damnation. You know, I tell you, sometimes just doesn't work out that way.
Open, but that's all right. I'll brew it up anyway without my intro. Chris,
Hi, my name is Van.
You are part of Rod Damnation now. Van is definitely not part of Rod Damnation, at least not live on this podcast. There are certainly a few times where there might be some Rod Damnation coming Van's way in the Morgan household, but that's for a different pod. This one is for Chris. This one is for Kobe stans. This one is for analytics darlings who all jumped all over themselves. We're literally kicking down the doors to be the first ones to get to Twitter with their hot take. Oh, this is ruining basketball. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is gross. How can anybody like this? Oh, Kobe is an absolute saint. Bullshit. Kobe Bryant was jacking up shots in that game just like Bam was. Wilt Chamberlain got 21 field goals in the fourth quarter of his 100-point game. All right. Fouling intentionally was going on in Wilt's game. Fouling was going on in Kobe's game. All right. The Wizards, under no circumstances, were like, hey, Bam, we're going to help you out. The Heat were certainly giving the ball to their teammate, but is that any different than giving the ball to Allen Iverson or Kobe Bryant or Anthony Edwards or Luka Doncic or Michael Jordan back in the day? All of you people stepping all over yourselves to try to shit on Bam just because he's not the typical offensive star that you think he should be and doesn't deserve this kind of an honor. Get out of here, man. That was a random game on a Monday night versus a team not trying to win, and Bam went out there and gave you something for the history books. Stop complaining.
I don't know how I got thrown in there.
Well, because I like what Spoelstra said. No, we're going to go for it. Why wouldn't you? And why wouldn't you go for it? And he, again, made 36 of 43 free throws. He could have had 80, okay? Or 90, sorry. That's amazing. Why not go for it? And you know what? If Washington's going to continue to do that and just play stupid, you might as well go for it.
They were triple teaming him. Chris, they were triple teaming him, and Bam was still getting buckets. What do you want the guy to do?
I didn't. What? Did you not listen to what I said? I said in 10 years, no one's going to remember her.
In the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily like it. No, like it wasn't good basketball to watch.
You don't get to just immediately run away from your words because you don't like how I'm coming back out.
But I followed that up literally with, in 10 years, no one's going to remember that. No one's going to remember how he got to 83, so it should be celebrated. That's literally what I laid it on. I didn't come out and bash him afterwards. I just said I didn't like the way the game ended, and that's a valid point to have.
I just made you the straw man. Deal with it.
Another valid point to have is SGA is a good basketball player and has probably cemented his MVP status because they're 9-1 in their last 10, and he beat the Nuggets twice in the same night. I'm asking you, Rod, is it just SGA or nothing right now, or does Victor have a chance?
I think Victor absolutely has a chance. I think we can't count the Spurs out. The Spurs that I saw handle my Celtics on Tuesday night are probably the best team in the NBA, not named the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I think Victor absolutely has a chance because, fine, Shea's a good player. Great, wonderful. Maple syrup and loving hockey made him a great player from Canada. But I don't like watching Shea play basketball. Sorry. I don't care. He's a free throw merchant. He is. You can say that that's a bad word, and I don't think it is, and it's not Shea's fault that that's the way that the NBA game is played, but he's absolutely a free throw merchant. I'm sorry. I don't care about Shea. I don't care about the Thunder. I'm not the least bit excited if he wins a second MVP in a row. So I hope to God Victor has a chance.
Chris, for somebody who hates tanking, you have 3 tanking teams in our wins league. Chris has the Pacers, the Jazz, and the Grizzlies, and 174 wins. Derek has 184 wins. Wu-Tang has 202 wins. I have 209 wins, and because we had to change the rules because I was so good, Rod is winning with 211 wins. The Knicks, the Rockets, Clippers, Wizards, Celtics, and Heat. Rod, you don't have anyone tanking, but we do have the Tankdemnation of the week.
Let's go. There are many, many teams tanking in this year's NBA, and they deserve a shout-out. And I have picked out 3 in particular this week, and I will have you know I was doing yeoman's work. There is tanking upon tanking upon tanking around every corner in the NBA right now, but there are 3 teams that stand out. Number 3 on the Kings of the Tank list are the Dallas Mavericks. Coming into tonight have lost 10 straight games. But the only problem with them losing 10 straight games is they've run into the Memphis Grizzlies, who are number 2 on the Kings of the Tank list. I think they're going to lose to Dallas tonight. That'll put you on the tank list right there, losing to a team that's lost 10 games in a row. But you know what else puts the Grizzlies on the tanks list? They lost to the 76ers a couple of nights ago, who did not have VJ Edgecombe on the court, who did not have Tyrese Maxey on the court, who did not have Joel Embiid on the court, who did not have Paul George on the court. And I believe Kelly Oubre, their 5th best player, didn't even play the entire game, and somehow Memphis lost to them. Also, Memphis at one point, I will have you know, was 18-23. Not a great record, but kind of middle of the pack. Maybe you're going to be shooting for the play-in there. I'll have you know that Memphis is now 23-41. That's 5-18 in their last 23 ball games. You cannot sign 10-day contracts past March 3rd in the NBA. Memphis says, not so fast. Our guys are hurt. We have to get 10-day contracts on hardship deals. Memphis is playing guys in their starting lineup that haven't even played in the G League this year. That's how you tank. You might say to me, Rod, that sounds like the number one king of the tank. Not so fast. Not so fast, baby.
We did it.
There's a team in Indiana that takes the crown. They have also lost 10 straight games. And you know who else they lost to? The Sacramento Kings, the worst team in the NBA. The Pacers were beating the Kings 98-92 with 5.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Rick Carlisle called the boys over and he said, hey guys, this can't happen. And the Pacers said, you got it, boss, and proceeded to allow the Kings to go on a 22-11 run to lose the ball game and sneak within one game, gentlemen, of the Kings for the worst record overall in the NBA. Congratulations, Pacers. That pick is not going to the Clippers. It is just not.
I love our basketball group chat that we have. And in that group chat, which most of the stuff in there we could actually put in public and we'd be fine. Most of it.
The basketball one.
Basketball. No other one. Basketball. The one I have as inappropriate. No, that is not allowed. We talked about, it looks like the Pacers are going to win. They're beating the Kings by this. And someone said, watch out. And then it definitely happened. And I just love that. If you're going to lose big. Pacers, listen, AJ DeBanza in Indianapolis. Chris, that's got to get you excited. A little
Sitting
bit.
here and being happy about having the worst record in the NBA as a fan is so anti-ethical to everything I've stood for that I won't be excited. And I don't like this little gig that Rod has started with this Tankdom Nation. So instead of celebrating the worst of the NBA, hit King's hierarchy so we can get.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Before you do
of
that,
the
Jimmy,
NBA.
Before you do that, Chris, you should understand liking a team that's terrible. You love the Indiana Hoosiers basketball team. They're pathetic. They can't even beat Northwestern.
They had a winning record. The Pacers don't.
Bryant for the win.
All right, Chris, the King's hardwood hierarchy. You were not here. By the way, excellent transition. I'm so proud of you. You're learning in your old age. You weren't here last week, so we took care of it for you. You had the king. The Pistons have been kings 3 out of 4 weeks. I don't think they're going to be the king this week, though. Thunder was the queen, Spurs was the prince, and the jester was Portland because they lost the Hawks for some reason. So who we have as the king of the week, Chris?
Well, we talked about him already, right? He's leading the MVP odds. It's Oklahoma City Thunder. All right. You 9-1 over the last 10. They have just been dominant, solidified the best overall record for right now. So yeah, got to give it to the Thunder. And right behind them is Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. Right behind them, because they're also 9-1 over the last 10. Just showed what they can do against one of the better teams, right? Sorry, Rod, but they looked really good in that game. and the Prince, I'm going to give this team a shout out because they won 6 in a row, and Bam did have a magical night. I wanted to give it to the Heat, right? But because this team just got their best player back, and they're still the second best team in the East. It's the Celtics as the Prince this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's go. And yes, you're right. Victor absolutely tore the Celtics up. Whatever Victor wanted to do that night, he was absolutely doing. And JB got tossed, and I'm not necessarily mad at him for getting tossed. He's trying to stick up for what he believes. I don't think he gets enough calls for a guy that drives to the hoop as much as he does, and he's not really a flopper, but if we had JT or JB in that fourth quarter, maybe that thing's a little different. And they don't run away from us there instead of us only scoring like 16 points in the fourth quarter the way we did without our second scorer on the floor. And Tatum, as you said, Jimmy, no matter what Joe Mazzulla says, I think he's not allowed to play above 28 minutes right now.
No, he's not at all. All right, Chris, we've got Thunder, Spurs, and Celtics. And who was our jester?
All right, I'm not partaking in tanking teams as jester, as we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
This week's jester is the Timberwolves. All right. You are a playoff team in the West, and you should be beating other playoff teams to solidify yourself. And what you do is go out and lose a whole bunch in a row, including the last 2 potential playoff teams, right? So, yeah, jester this week, the Wolves.
That's fair.
Oh.
They're so up and down.
Yeah, they
Right?
always are, but then
We've
they are in the Western Conference Finals. So
I wouldn't count
We've
them out.
seen them with some great streaks this year as well, but like this past week, no, you're losing to games that you need to show that you can win if you're going to be successful in the playoffs.
All right, that was the fast break part of the Morgan podcast. Coming up, yeah, we know we're talking WWE. WrestleMania is just right around the corner, so let's talk about it right now. Chris, how you feeling, buddy? Need a hug?
All right, so I knew this was coming, and I went back and forth whether or not I should stick with my Drew love or go different route. I got to go a different route right now because I am confused about why do this. Right, so we're going to get Cody and Orton at WrestleMania. Is that what we really wanted?
Fair.
It's interesting. I think that they're doing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's weird whenever bookers, and this happens in WWE, everywhere. When cards are, you can kind of see what the card's going to be. They want to throw a curveball at you. They don't want it to be predictable. But in storytelling, it kind of should be predictable. Yeah, you're going to have some things here and there, but overall, it should be predictable. That's the reason why they took the belt off of Cody in the first place, to change it up a little bit. And they were going to go with Cody and Drew at Mania. But then they're like, well, this is going to be the fourth match. At the time, it would have been the fourth match. And people didn't want to see that. Well, people didn't really want to see McIntyre and Jacob Fatu for the title because that didn't really make sense. So where are you going to go? An Orton Cody does have a lot of history, but I don't know if we're done yet. I can't see if we're done yet. And we're going to try to throw Drew in there or Fatu in there or just have them go their separate ways. Rod, do you think we're just going to get a single match between Orton and Cody?
I did, but I tend to trust your judgment an awful lot on these things. So if you even have an inkling that we're gonna maybe get to a triple threat, but here's the life raft that I see possibly available for Drew. It'd be great to have somebody we didn't think of come out and fight Brock Lesnar. But if Drew came out and fought Brock Lesnar and beat him, perhaps that raises Drew back up a little bit after his star may have fallen, losing the belt to Cody. That might be a life raft available. I mean, I guess I just look at the Brock situation as a life raft available to almost anybody. Yeah. And you said that Orton, right, who's a guy that I like to refer to as a microwave, right? This is a thing that I try to make happen, and someday maybe it will. He's got such a resume that anytime you put him in a match like this, it's going to work. You're going to be able to sell it. You're going to be able to have the video package that backs it up. You're going to have plenty of footage of Randy and Cody, right? Randy being one of the first guys into the ring after Cody finished the story, right? Like that was a big deal, right? The Elimination Chamber finish, right? Where Randy says, I don't have any problem getting you here, Cody, you know? So I just think there's definitely story there, but I was surprised. I really was. I just thought it was a fait accompli. We were going to see Drew, Cody's winning Elimination Chamber, and that's not what we did. So once that happened, I wasn't the least bit surprised Cody beat Drew. I will say that. And I'm a little disappointed in our guy Chris here for having a muted reaction to his boy losing the title. This is radio silence. We didn't even hear from him.
Yeah.
I had to process this, Rod, because it was unfathomable to me. I didn't think that this was going to... I thought for sure there was going to be a schmoz ending, right? I didn't think there was going to be a straight pin, right? That was so unexpected, and I couldn't understand the thinking behind it. I really couldn't.
I kind of thought that was definitely... I thought it was going to happen. I think that they're going with this golden boy kind of gimmick with Cody right now that... Chris, it might be time to turn Cody heel at WrestleMania. Maybe he does something to thwart Orton and keep the title, because right now we have a lot of belts that could change hands at WrestleMania, and they never all do. What are your thoughts on Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania? Does that do anything for you?
Not when there's not a belt there, all right? Like, listen, Drew should have the belt on, all right? He should have his main event at WrestleMania. Like, he has earned that. He has been a top producer for the industry for many years. All right, he has always done what he's been asked of, and it was his time. Right, it's not Cody's time anymore. Let's get that fine. And all I have seen really until
Cody's
lately
time.
is Randy Orton continue to lose, so you don't expect him to win, no matter who he's fighting. So it needed to be Drew out there, right? And I don't care if it ended up being a 3-way match with Fatu in the mix, but it needed to have Drew with the belt around him at WrestleMania.
So we're painting Drew as Mr. Corporate Champion now, all of a sudden, as like the guy who just was following the P's and Q's as champ and dotting the lowercase I's and J's. That's where calling Drew.
And listen, for all I know, he gets along with Triple H great. It's just Pierce he has an issue with.
It's not real. Oh my God. Okay. I love you so much, Chris. No one wanted to see Drew and Cody. No one at all wanted to do that. They really need to have some footage of Cody being the one who injured Fatu. They really need to have that. And then get Fatu in there in a 4-way. I don't like 4-ways for the title at Mania, but it's not. It's the first night's main event.
Why would Cody have injured Fatu, though, Jimmy? You got to give me a reason as to why he was the one that did it.
He's jealous because he's the up-and-coming star, and he was going to take his spot. So he wants to take him out for a couple months so he gets back down and Cody remains on top.
So we're just completely swerving left down the Cody Rhodes Highway for no reason. Cody's just going to completely act out of character and attack Jacob.
No, I think it's a new character. Yes, I think he's jealous, and I think he's going to go full heel. I don't know. That could happen. But it also just could be a main event at WrestleMania when you got two guys that the fans love, and I don't see Orton winning. But then, what's the next night? Who faces Cody? Maybe that happens after Mania, where they see Fatu got hurt by Cody, and then they go that way after Mania. I don't know. I do know something though. Danhausen is over and the #1 shirt seller on WWE.com. Gentlemen, it worked. Chris, talk to me about Danhausen. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's just a little bit ridiculous to me that the WWE and Triple H is allowing some sort of voodoo magic to happen and allowing people to be cursed and lose their titles because of this guy. So I don't know. I got some. I don't know. They should be allowing that backstage.
Chris's views do not reflect the views of Jimmy and Rod. I do not want any part of a curse. I love Danhausen. Chris is speaking for himself.
Guys, they have. Where is it? They have a Danhausen wrestling buddy. I did not know they had that.
I saw this. Danhausen has been. His Twitter has just been a gold mine for 2 weeks now.
An unsigned debut photograph runs from $9.99 to $39.99. Let's go. Oh, that's so great. I'm so happy for him. I really am.
Very evil. It's very good and very evil, Jim.
I love the curse gimmick. He cursed Dom. Dom lost the title. He cursed El Grande Americano Original, and he didn't even make it to his match. Rod, this is going to happen. I don't know when, but relatively soon, where he's going to curse somebody big. He's going to curse a world champion, a Liv Morgan maybe at SummerSlam. He'll curse her and she'll lose the title. It could curse probably not CM Punk. They're like best friends, but seriously, I think this is really cool, and they can do it. It's kind of like not a prediction, a spoiler. When you get cursed, you're cursed.
Love it. Love Danhausen. Thought we were probably going to get Danhausen involved with R-Truth. But then I was kind of like, yeah, you're really kind of, that's kind of the Spider-Man meme, right? Two guys pointing to one another that are both basically just about getting the laughs. Then we see R-Truth and Damian Priest. I kind of enjoyed them as a tag team. So give me more Danhausen and let's keep him out of the ring. All right. Honestly, let's keep him out of the ring. I don't need to see him fight. We still have a blimp, right? Like they have those smaller blimps that you can unleash inside of an arena, right? Let's get one of those out during one of the Raw shows so we can meet his demand there. And then let's run a storyline where the only Demandhausen not filled is his Hall of Fame induction, right? Let's go. Let's get all of the other Demandhausens taken care of. Let's get him on a WWE truck All right, let's get him.
Oh, he's going to be on a
Hot
truck.
Ones.
He's
Let's
going to
get
be
him
on a truck.
Hot Ones. This was the one that he just asked for today. He says he's very famous and very evil enough to be on the Chicken Wing show. So let's get him on Hot Wings, right? Let's fill all the demand housings.
Chris, come on.
It's Hot Ones, Rod.
This is great.
It's demand housing ones.
It's
That's
demand housings. I just, it's such a good gimmick.
Let's just have a good time. There's nothing
And
wrong with
that's
having
what
a good
it
time.
is. Speaking of having good times, Rod, you've got your Seth Rollins back, but not many people were a fan of his return to Raw with all of his other Seth Rollins hooded or masked men. How do you think that segment went over? And are we just going to get Rollins and Logan Paul at Mania?
I guess we are, and that went over absolutely fabulous. And apparently, all of these people who did not like the many hooded Seth Rollins do not remember Eminem's entrance into the Video Music Awards one year, where he had literally an army of like 500 Slim Shady lookalikes coming in with him. All right.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is just clearly an Eminem guy. He's clearly sending an homage out to Eminem with all of his Seth Rollins dudes, and it worked. Show me somebody that has figured out a more smart move to ensure that they don't get attacked during the time that they are not medically cleared. It's perfect. If you can't hit me, if you can't find me. And Seth figured out the perfect way for them to not be able to find him. Once again, Jimmy, he proves why he is a visionary and a revolutionary and the man that stirs the drink.
We're going to see a tag match, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see that.
Isn't it going to be
before
Logan? Oh, you think we'll see it before WrestleMania? You think it'll be at WrestleMania?
Oh, well, you know,
Theory with LA Knight and Seth Rollins.
See, here's the thing: if Seth Rollins can't go at 100%, but he can go, but they don't want him to be in a singles match, I could see that. I really thought they were going to go Vision for the tag team championships, but again, you can't do that if you only have two guys in the Vision. That would need Braun Breaker back. So yeah, we might get that. I'm assuming that's more of like a main event Raw, a couple weeks before Mania, though.
Yeah, because heaven forbid we give LA Knight a huge platform at WrestleMania.
No, he can't be. Bailey is getting a pretty big platform here. Bailey finally gets a win. He's going to go against AJ Lee here in a couple weeks on Raw for the Intercontinental title. This is a way to get AJ Lee into the ring with someone she's comfortable with, and they'll have a decent match going back and forth. Hopefully, AJ can get a little quicker on those spots and work up to a match at WrestleMania, Rod.
Great. Wonderful.
You love it. Chris. Hey, good for our girl Bailey, though. Good for our girl Bailey.
Love Bailey, but just wish that Bailey would have a program involved with somebody who's done more than wrestle one match in 11 years.
Right.
One match.
Bailey's proved that she's earned this opportunity. I didn't see AJ Lee earn her first opportunity, but they're not going to give the belt to Bailey, are they? They're going to keep it on AJ Lee.
No, come on, Chris.
God, no.
Come on now. Speaking of belts, Penta's awesome. Love him as the Intercontinental Champion. Really good match with El Grande, and then we had the promo at the end of the match. Penta is awesome, and I want to see him. Maybe is he a Javon Evans Penta in Mania? That'd be kind of cool. I just thought of that myself. Actually, that would be a really great match for WrestleMania. Just say go and do it, and Penta still gets the win, but have a great match.
Shout out Penta. I saw on Twitter about a 90-second clip of him interacting with a little fan backstage.
Yeah.
He was all decked out in the Penta gear and had been selling candy bars to buy the mask. And then Penta came back and met him and they took pictures together. And he basically got to do the Penta entrance. Shout out to Penta. Love that guy. Think it's great that we have an Intercontinental Champion that is a little bit different, right? We haven't seen a luchador carry a belt in a long, long while. So a guy wearing a mask this over, I'm for it. Let's go. But as you said, Jimmy, he's going to need somebody to have a feud with. So who they line him up with at WrestleMania will tell the tale.
Chris, tell us you don't like Penta just to bring us down.
I like Penta a lot. I'm upset that he only won because Danhausen cursed our boy Dom, right? So I feel like maybe we could put an asterisk beside his name for this Intercontinental title. But speak it into existence, Jimmy. I'll watch that match every single night. if they get Penta and Davis in there.
It's interesting, Rod. You mentioned we haven't seen a luchador. The last masked wrestler to win a title was Rey Mysterio in 2023, the United States Championship, and that lasted 14 days. So I think Penta's already over that, which is nice. And then we had the big breakup. See, Rod is all choked up because he's so excited.
Oh.
Dom Mysterio, Judgment Day, breaks up with Finn Balor. JD McDonough, after all Finn Balor's done with him, like literally in real life, his entire career, just turns on him. Chris, you've got to be heartbroken.
No.
Okay, fine.
Not really. Not really. Listen, I think this is what Finn Balor needs as a wrestler to propel up maybe and get himself a belt. I think he was getting lost in the Judgment Day, right? But I as far as him and JD, I think JD needs it too. Let him team up with Dom. Let them have maybe some tag titles for a little bit. We know they like to put belts on the Judgment Day.
Can I make one thing clear? You said our guy Dom. I'm not a Dom guy. Don't let me in with Dom. All right. Again, I have proper respect for Danhausen, and don't lump me in as a Dom guy. I'm not a Dom guy. Our number one fan, Dom Mysterio Glazer, knows that for 100% fact.
But we are big fans of Finn Balor, Rod, and he's going to come out as
I'm
Demon, and
pumped.
he's going to beat him at WrestleMania, and I think that'll be great.
I'm pumped. I think Finn needs any kind of a platform. The man can wrestle like nobody else. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of other solo male wrestlers that can go the way Finn Balor is. There's just not. So let's see it. I'm happy for Finn. I think it's good for JD McDonough in a weird way, because if he just went with Finn, he's kind of lost in Finn's shadow still. At least this way he gets a chance to try to show himself and get some sort of a reaction from the crowd in a match that matters. So I guess that's good for JD that way, but I did feel the heartstrings a little bit. I'm like, oh man, JD turned on him too. I did feel that a little bit. So it was good storytelling.
Yeah. Speaking of lost, our boy Rusev lost in many ways. Hey, he got a kick in. He got a kick in on Ovafemi. It staggered him. It was a quick one. Hey, listen, when you're the new beast, Rusev did this to a lot of guys when he first came up. When you're the new beast, you go through a lot of guys, and you have to go through big guys, and Rusev is a big guy. It's got to be Femi and Brock at Mania, right?
Oh yeah, it probably is. I texted you immediately though, Jim. I texted you immediately, and I was like, man, not good for my guy Rusev. He just completely jobbing and laying down to Oba. But you said it right. I mean, we saw this run with Omos. You know what I mean? We saw Rusev himself when he came back. He ran through a couple of dudes. Nobody quite, as huge Rusev level, but because they made it go even between him and Sheamus. So, I mean, Sheamus, right? We haven't seen Sheamus in a while. Maybe Sheamus will give Obafemi a good...
He's hurt. He's hurt.
Oh, is he? Well, of
yeah.
course he is. I don't know. It bums me out a little bit because I like Rusev, and I was hoping they'd do something with Rusev, and clearly they're not doing anything with Rusev.
Chris, how about you, Oba?
I love it. Right?
Okay.
He come in and dominate because that's what we expect someone of that size to do, right? Keep throwing some dudes out there. I'm not sold that we see him versus Brock at WrestleMania, though.
Anything's possible.
Just keep feeding him another sacrificial lamb every other week or so, and do that for 6 to 8 months, right? So we get fully behind, like this guy's going to destroy everybody, and then start giving him a push towards a belt.
Okay, but we have to have him have a match at WrestleMania. He's got to wrestle somebody. So
Why?
Who's that?
Otis.
Because he's your biggest new star that you have, and he's over as hell. He's going to wrestle at WrestleMania.
I don't think that has proven to us that somebody being over gets a match at WrestleMania. LA Knight's over, and he's not going to probably get a match at WrestleMania.
All right, let me rephrase that. Someone who's over and the company's behind.
A little different,
and
unfortunately.
he might get a. I think LA Knight's probably going to get a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think he's probably in. I think LA Knight's probably in for sure.
Yeah. All right, I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about the Usos and CM Punk's, I guess, main event talking segment, which we all love when that happens. Chris, what were your thoughts on that?
I am sorry if you sent it to me. I did not catch anything you said.
Oh, it's okay, Chris.
I got I got internet issues.
All right, Chris. Do you know what are your thoughts on the Jimmy and Jay Uso and CM Punk closing segment?
How many segments do the Usos need in a night without actually wrestling? I mean, we really need them to open and close a show, right, against two different people that aren't in a tag division, which they have the titles to. I don't know. No. All right. We want to see Punk face off with Roman, don't we? Who cares about Jimmy and Jay? It's Roman's fight.
Yes, but when Roman's not there, you have to send in somebody else, Rod, and that sometimes is the problem. How do you feel the segment went over? Are you buying this heat that they have?
I didn't appreciate it. I mean, honestly, I didn't appreciate it. I think that CM Punk to call the Usos young boys it's I mean, those are Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I get in this context you're calling them that because they're backing up Roman, who's their cousin, but like these men are Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? Like if these dudes weren't Roman Reigns' cousin and you just look at their resume in the WWE, these guys are Hall of Famers. I mean, Jey Uso was recently the champ. You know what I mean? Like to call these guys young boys is just like I'm a little disappointed, I guess, because I was coming around on Punk and I much rather would have seen Roman go bad guy here, but I guess the crowd determined that they weren't going to get mad at Roman. So now you got to have Punk go a little more heel, and for Punk to go heel, he's got to just come off like a complete asshole because like he's just been an asshole the last 2 weeks in these two talking segments. Like just the stuff that I didn't like out of CM Punk when he first came back, and I called him Phil all the time, the way Roman's calling him that now. So I don't know, man. I hope Roman's going to have something big to say to him, and we're going to see something because I didn't appreciate Punk being just a petulant ass for the last 2 weeks.
And that's what he is. You know, he speaks the truth. He gets angry at people, and he is an ass. I didn't really like the segment. It was fine. Everyone did their part fine. I just didn't like the segment. I thought it was a little too forced because Roman's not there. You do want to continue to build up the main event for WrestleMania, but we still are far enough away that we didn't necessarily have to have that on there. And I always like to see some. And you know what? Punk can wrestle somebody. I mean, he's probably going to wrestle Jimmy next week or the week after. Non-title match. Might wrestle Jay then. Non-title match. And then go with Roman. Punk can get some more reps, but you also have to be careful with Punk too.
Definitely.
Because that would be a big loss for this year's WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes said that it could be the best bell-to-bell WrestleMania we've had as far as work rate goes. And it could be with the people they have. It just kind of depends on how you put it in there and how good and how short the Cargill and Rhea Ripley match is. Some news from your girl, Rod. Charlotte Flair has made a 6-figure angel investment in the mental health advocacy and lifestyle brand Self-Care is for Everyone for 10% equity stake. She wants to go behind the championing sharing mental health care. How cool is that?
All hail the queen in so many different ways. She had that great article in the Athletic or the Players Tribune, I guess it was, a little while back, talking about her mental struggles and some of the things that she's had to deal with in her position. So I say kudos, man, as somebody who has dealt with some therapy appointments myself. It can be quite helpful, and I think that the stigma that is quite unfortunately associated with it too often in certain circles needs to go away. So for a big bad wrestler like Charlotte Flair to get behind it, perhaps that'll mean some good things for some people.
For sure. And with that, we are going to end the Yeah We Know segment of the More You Know podcast. Next week, we've got more NBA action. I'm sure 5 or 6 things in the NFL will be turned upside down. And of course, what's going to happen with WrestleMania coming up just right around the corner.
And Chris will be excited because we're going to talk some college hoops. Our guy, the football handicapper who also loves college hoops, will be back here. The bracket is coming out this weekend. The Hoosiers will not be in it once again. Give me Tom Crean, but that's a discussion for another time.
Take us home, Chris.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Internet.
So the Hoosiers aren't good at basketball this year?
No, it's a football
We're
school.
football school, Jimmy.
You know
Tom
what?
Crean.
Have we been a football school for the past 10 years and just we didn't know it?
We just didn't have Tom Crean for the past 10 years. Those Big Ten championships he won